Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Visit ccgcastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more. And finally, it's here my Greninja GX deck featuring Weavile and the Tapu Koko, the deck that I used at my league this weekend, and I actually won that tournament with 4 victories and only 1 draw without defeats, basically in the best of 3 matches. Round number 1 played versus Rayquaza GX Weavile, managed to win against that deck pretty much easily. Round number 2 I played against a Garchomp, a Lucario. It was a very close game, but at the end I managed to win. My opponent managed somehow to set up pretty quickly, and he even managed to beat me in 1 game. But then game number 3 I successfully managed to set up properly at my turn 1. Turn 2 I just started to snipe some John Water Shuriken, not with John Water Shurikens, but the Gale Shurikens and Shurikens Flurries with my Fly Flip, and game was pretty much over from that point. Game number 3 played versus Melomar, and basically it was a Melomar spread deck featuring Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele. Scored a win, basically taking multiple prize cards in just a single turn with my Rule of Evil. Weavile. Game number 4 I played against Ultra Necrozma Melomar deck. Again, it was way too easy for me to beat that deck. That deck didn't stand a chance versus this one, obviously. And in the game number 5, I drove versus Buzzwole deck featuring Lycanroc. But overall, it was a very successful tournament for me. So there is a deck list that I used at that tournament, so I'm gonna go quickly through the cards and explain the purpose of all of those cards. So starting with the Ditto, it was a very useful card in this deck because with the Ditto, I had a chance to evolve pretty much into second Rule of Evil, Weavile, or maybe into these of Strika, so I could also use my Sprint, which was useful in many cases, but also I was able to use my Ditto with the Frogadier and then simply scoop it up with my Super Scoop Up, which I actually did a couple times. Then I played 2 copies of Weavile and 1 Sneaky Smash Sneasel, which also helped me versus Buzzwole and in some other matchups when I started with it, and when I used that Sneaky Smash to remove energy from my opponent's active Pokemon at the turn 1. Then I also used Magical Swap Tapu Lele. So probably you're gonna ask me how many times I used Tapu Lele. I used it probably 2 times, and both times versus Rayquaza, when I managed to grab 6 prize cards literally in a single turn. Then I played 3 copies of Fly Flip Tapu Koko. For the damage spread, I already mentioned Zebstrika with Sprint for the draw support, as well as 1 Let Loose Marshadow and a copy of Tapu Lele GX, and then 4 3-2 lines of Froakie, Frogadier, and Greninja. And there was also 1 Pioneer of this deck, which was Jet Gazer Volcanion. I didn't actually use it too much, just against... I used it actually a couple times versus Melomar spread deck, which actually helped me a little bit, and also 1 time versus Buzzwole, but overall I didn't use it in any other matchups. And that was pretty much all from the Pokemons. For the setup cards, I played 3 copies of Nazball, 4 copies of Ultra Ball, and 2 copies of Timer Ball, and that was pretty much a perfect combination of searching cards for the setup. Then I played 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher and 4 copies of Super Scoop Up, so I was able to recover my Greninjas into my hand and then just use more and more damage spreads around the board. But I was also able to scoop any other Pokemons like Let Loose Marshadow, like Tapu Lele, and many other damaged Pokemons from play. Interesting decision was to use stadiums. I played 2 Pot Towns with 2 copies of Shrine of Punishments. Pot Town was very useful versus Melomar decks because once they evolved, they took 3 damage counters, and then Weavile just strike them one with the Rule of Evil, and I was able to take multiple prize cards in just a single turn, and that was piece of cake for this build. Shrines was also good versus, for example, Rayquaza GXs, versus Ultra Necrozma Melamar, as well as versus Boswell Lycanroc deck. It actually helped me to beat that Boswell for draw. Then from supporter lineup, I played 8 Rouge supporters, 4 Cynthias, 2 Lilies, and 2 Tate and Lizas. And I also played 1 backup Acerola and 2 copies of Guzma. The main reason for me to play Acerola was simply to have 100% chance to scoop my Greninja from play if I needed, actually, with Shrine of Punishment. So that was pretty clever play, pretty much, or maybe even with the Pot Town. So Acerola was always useful and working for me. I also played 10 energies, 4 copies of Double Chorus, 4 regular water energies, and 2 copies of counter energies, so I could also attack, for example, with my Slash. So, for example, hitting with Slash, you could one-hit knock at Giratina. Just for example, I could also use my Magical Swap, which was the main purpose of this build. And yeah, that was the deck list that I used, and I managed to win that local league finally with Greninja. I was also second with a similar deck, but I made a couple improvements and more deck testing and a couple other tests, and right now deck works perfect. It is a very strong deck. I highly recommend to anyone that likes Greninja to test this out, because it's a lot of fun with this deck. The only possible card that I will probably potentially move up from this build for the upcoming cards are definitely going to be this Volcanion. I'm just looking forward to remove Volcanion from this deck and maybe add a couple other interesting tech cards, like for example Counter Catcher or something like that. So right now when you actually see this deck, you can also see this deck in the action, so see you in the game. Alright, so we're chilling with this Greninja deck, and I'm also starting first, so let's take a look at the opening hand. Well, this is a very interesting opening hand. So since I'm going first, I'm gonna for now just set 2 Froakies on the bench. Probably not gonna waste my bench space for Volcanion, but I might even put him on the bench as well, we shall see. Alright, so I see some Electro Powers on the other side of the field, some sort of lighting deck. Oh, 2 extra cards for me, taking that. Alright, let's start with Shrine and 1 Cynthia. There we go. More than that, I couldn't get too much, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna attach energy to my Volcanion for now, and I'm just gonna pass my turn. Not looking good. Definitely not looking good. I just bricked after that Cynthia play, so hopefully my hand will be a little bit better. My opponent started with Marshadow Let Loose. He have Jirachi available on the bench. There is 1 copy of Acrobike, so he can grab himself some of the cards from the top deck. He decided to remove Electro Power. There's a skateboard, so he can have the retreat for that Stellar Wish, where he can simply look at the top 5 cards of his deck, grab a trainer card, put it into his hand, and maybe even consider using it as well. Since he already retreated, my opponent won't be able to switch without, or actually retreat without switch card. And there we see a Let Loose play, which I kind of like, mainly because of the idea that I have pretty much nothing available in my hand. So he's probably hoping for some sort of Zapdos energy play, and also maybe switch, maybe even Guzma, for example. And again, I didn't get nothing useful, but at least I have that Ultra Ball and Timer Ball and Double Course energy, so I was hoping for supporter card, which I couldn't get. And another Marshadow Let Loose. Wow, so he's playing like 3 Marshadows. You kidding me? Alright, so we have Drow Supporter, which is a very important thing here. And there's an Acrobike. So he's just trying to power up this Picazecrum for turn 2, I can already see that. But I personally think that he just puts way too many Marshadows in play, meaning that my one Weavile will be happy to see so many Marshadows. That's for sure. So he also decided to move that Tapu Koko from play, and he passes the turn. He took 10 from the Shrine. As the thing's looking right now, I'm just ready for that Cynthia play. And there's the Tapu Koko, which unfortunately I cannot use for now. So yeah, we're just gonna pass the turn for now. Alright, at least Picazecrum took 2 damage counters from Shrine of Punishment, which is something, right? Having a hard time moving this Froakie, not having Super Scoop Up, neither Double Course Energy for the Fly Flip. So there is another round of Stellar Wish, and we can expect to see maybe a Thunder Mountain play for nothing less but for full Blitz. I mean, the truth is, the only thing that I really need here would be 1 round of the Fly Flip, and basically after that 1 round of Rule of Evil, and I'm already taking 4 prize cards, which is insane. I'm just wondering where those 3 energies are gonna go after my opponent uses this full Blitz. I really have no clue, to be honest. I can only assume that he will attach them to the active one, but he decided rather to go to the benched one. Okay, so there we go. There's a Sneasel. There's a Podtown, which I will definitely play, as well as a Counter Energy, and I'm not going to risk. I'm just going to play a Lily so I can have Cynthia available for the following turn. And we're going to go with something like a Ultra Ball in this case. It's not that I need way too much, but I'm just going to go for the Ditto so I can be 100% positive that for the next turn I can have that Rule of Evil play. Which will be very important for me because I can theoretically draw 4 prize cards and go way ahead of my opponent. So that's the thing that I really want to do, and I'm really looking forward to do. And then again, later I can just get some Greninja with Gale Shurikens and John Shurikens and pretty much be able to take advantage over my opponent. So let's go with the Sneasel to the front. Oh, actually I made a mistake there. I should go with the Ditto, because if I want to attack with the Rule of Weavile, I will also knock my Ditto out. But I guess we can just try to avoid that. Time for the Cynthia play. Hopefully I'm gonna get energy in something else. Oh my gosh. Or maybe I won't. Alright, at least I still have Ultra Ball for Marshadow let loose, so not gonna complain too much. And I also need somehow to remove this Stadium card from play. That's the very important thing right now. So again, I did pretty bad decision with this Weavile play at the end, but it's okay. At least if I can get energy, I'm gonna be able to spread a lot of damage and take 4 prize cards, and then my opponent can take 2 prize cards, which is a good thing. But we have, for example, Super Scoop Up here, so maybe we can get something useful with it. For example, like this type of the play. The thing that I don't like to use is definitely this, Double Course Energy play, but it's okay, at least I took 4 prize cards, right? And right now I just need to find a way to take basically 2 more prize cards. So 4 prize cards in just a single turn is amazing. I need Shrine, so badass. play that would be to have Shrine, so I could just use Shrine to put some damage to my opponent, pick a Zakrams. Next turn, unfortunately, I can't anymore use my Rule of Evil, so I'm probably gonna try to get a Fly Flip. I'm even consider attaching some energies to my Volcanion, but my opponent can easily attack bolt me, so that's just not gonna be super useful. And he actually realized that the main threat there would be a Froakie, so we can expect also knockout versus Volcanion, but maybe not. Yes, so as expected. Okay, so right now I need somehow to build up a Greninja in 2 turns with a chance to take the knockout, which won't be that easy. If I put my Tapu Koko in play, then I can swing for a decent amount of damage, but again, not gonna be super effective. So I can only hope that my opponent don't have some type of the electro power available, because if I set my Froakie in play, I can't evolve this turn. Next turn he can take the knockout, and then I can only have Frogadier in play, which won't be super effective anyways. But I will definitely set one Froakie in play. At least I will try to do something with him, as well as with my Tapu Koko. What I can get, nothing useful, right? Just the energy attachment. Lily play for like 3, and there is a super scoop up, so I can potentially scoop Marshadow and let loose. So I can put my opponent down to like down to like 4 cards instead of like 6 or 7. And I'm hitting hard here, actually. I'm hitting for like 20, 140, so 160. That is a lot of damage, right? And my opponent actually needs only 1 electric power and the game is over. Unfortunately, I'm gonna lose, so there's no doubt about it. Or maybe Choiceman, for example, yeah, so even with the Choiceman, he can steal the show. Maybe it would be better if I just decided to attack with Tapu Koko turn and then hit for 20, so he would have 200. Yeah, still, things wouldn't be different anyways. Maybe would. Maybe I could play that a little bit better, but it is GG. Alright, so starting the game going first, and all I'm looking for is start with my Tapu Koko. So I can start spreading the damage around the board. Even this type of the hand is not that bad, right? With 2 copies of Nazball and double Core's energy attachment. I even have 2 Frogadiers, so I'm even thinking about just passing my turn for the turn 1. We're gonna see. And what a nice top deck that was. Alright, so gonna grab myself Froakie, a Ditto. Energy to be attached. Yes, we can do that for the backup. I'm even thinking about it, attacking and doing some damage here with my Tapu Koko, which won't be the bad thing at all, especially versus Boswell. I can strike for much more than just let my opponent knock my Tapu Koko, add a turn 1 with Beast Energy, for example. So he's playing some type of a Boswell GX and Greninja deck, which is also not bad at all. Boswell also has capabilities to strike with the Knuckle Impact. He also has some options to use that Ultra Beast, Beast Ring advantage. So very, very interesting deck list on the other side of the field. Who's going to be in a better position? I don't know, we're going to see that. I can assume that I have a little bit better advantage over my opponent, mainly because of a Weavile. And I can trick him with my Pot Hound, so I can grab a couple prize cards in just a single turn. And we're probably going to see 30-30 here, maybe 50, maybe even a knockout. Well, actually, we won't see the knockout because he don't have the NC, neither Beast Energy, so just a Jet Punch. 30 to my Ditto, I can already see that, as expected. Alright, so first things first, I will try to evolve if it's possible. And quite frankly, I'm thinking about getting myself a Zipstrika. Using Ultra Ball as well for some sort of energy play into the one Frogadier. So one thing is quite obvious there. I'm gonna need energy card and maybe even potentially Super Scoop Up, which I couldn't flip heads on it. I do have energy card as well as my sprint, so I'm definitely looking for maybe another Super Scoop Up in this case. Or maybe Sneasel, but none of these two things are gonna happen. So I'm ready for one round of the Fly Flip. And I also discarded my Tapu Lele and two energies, which are water energies, meaning that I have very tiny chance to attack with my Greninja GX. If I want to use it, definitely I need to consider attaching energy to my Frogadier next turn, otherwise I'm not going to be able to attack. If I somehow manage to flip heads on the coin flip, I would definitely... well, yeah, that wouldn't change anyways. Alright, never mind. So my opponent hit me there heavily, and I managed to top deck Sneasel, as well as one energy and Greninja. So one of those frogs will be knocked out. I'm ready for the Tantalizer and then potentially even for Sprint. And again, I couldn't get myself a Super Scoop Up, which kinda surprised me there. Alright, so I'm ready for the Fly Flip. At least I can take a prize card. And next turn I can take two more prize cards with my Greninja, plus I can also shuffle my Greninja back to my deck. And most important thing is that he finally managed to get himself a Beast Energy as well as a Lily, which is not the smartest thing in the world that he actually did. But at least he can Jet Punch. So I'm only looking for one Frogadier, and I can just use my Haze Slash, which will probably win me a game there. Or maybe not. We shall see. So there's a Super Scoop Up. First things first, double Course Energy play, one copy of a Rescue Stretcher, 1, 2, 3, one Cynthia, and will I be able to get Frogadier? Yes, I will. And there we go. So that's 90. And I'm ready for my Haze Slash, which should be enough for the knockout. And the most important thing is that I will also consider shuffling Greninja back into my deck, promoting my Tapu Koko into the active position after I grab myself two prize cards. And even if my opponent managed to evolve, I can win the game next turn by taking two prize cards if those two Pokemons are only gonna be available for my opponent, especially if he evolves into Frogadier, because then I can find myself a Weavile and take the victory. But he actually decided to concede, so we're gonna move on to the game number 2. Alright, so game number 2, and once again I'm starting first, this time with a Tapu Koko. There's also Volcanion available for me, which I will probably consider discarding with my Ultra Ball for some sort of Tapu Lele, maybe even Marshadow play. I could even consider playing my Marshadow. I really like that Pidgeotto tag from my opponent's side of the field. Very, very nice card. And another Ultra Ball as a top deck. And a Froakie. Alright, cool. Alright, so I do have Ditto. I do have Marshadow. I will assume that my opponent plays some sort of GX deck, so I will try to let loose. If I get Supporter, that's already a win for me, and I did get Cynthia, so I can play that Cynthia. Worst possible scenario, I can even get my Super Scoop up, so that can also work for me as well. And we have one copy of Ultra Ball there, which should definitely goes for that Ditto, and I do have Rescue Stretcher, so I can easily recover that Zebstrika sooner or later. And I have Lily for the following turn, so what else I can ask for? So it is a Charizard deck on the other side of the field, so 50 HP Charmander instead of the 70, with a Reprisal. This attack does 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. I mean, this Pidgeotto tag with Jirachi is very, very powerful. And it is also non-GX. I kind of like it. So still a wish for a Ultra Ball. He just passes the turn. That's kind of interesting. We're gonna go with Lily and see what we can get. Another Froakie. Alright, means only one thing. I'm ready for my Ultra Ball play. And in this scenario, I'm just gonna grab myself another Frogadier. And I'm gonna put 2 damage counters onto his Pidgey on the bench. I can attach energy and pass my turn. If he plays Rare Candy Charizard, then I'm losing Frogadier with 2 energies, which won't be good. I wish I had that Zebstrika in my deck, so I could just keep using more cards with my sprint. Pidgeotto, easy target for that Weavile, which I don't have right now in my discard pile. So there's a Airmail. If you're not familiar with this card, once during a turn you might look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them in your hand. Put the other card on the bottom of your deck. So there we go with the Stellar Wish. I mean, stage 1 and you can draw 1 card. That's literally you're drawing 2 cards per turn, not 1. And if you have 2 Pidgeottos in play, you can do that twice, right? So okay, Charmeleon discarded for Charizard. So something tells me that my opponent has Rare Candy for Charizard, and the question still remains, will he be able to use Continuous Blaze Ball and Guzma play for my Frogadier on the bench? If he will, that will definitely put him in a very good position. However, he won't be able to do that. So he hits me there for 130. And I'm promoting my Frogadier to the front. I do have Cynthia, so even Rescue Stretcher can work as well. But this is definitely not looking good. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna do that. I guess I'm gonna put my pot down in play as well. I guess I'm gonna play Nest Ball, and I will just grab myself a Tapu Koko so I can spread more damage counters around the board. I mean, the truth is, I was able literally here to take a price card versus this Pidgeotto if I decided to put 2 damage counters on him. But it's not that I really need it, at least not for now. And he added a couple more damage counters to his Charizard, 2 energies. And next turn I'm hitting for 40, but that's still not enough for the knockout. Oh my goodness, can I top deck something? I mean, I already discarded like 5 from 8 draw supporters, and it will be very difficult for me to draw that draw supporter. Like near impossible, I would say. Alright, I like to see this. I like to see this, another Pidgeotto in play. So theoretically I can take like almost 4 prize cards in a single turn with my Weavile. So I can theoretically surprise my opponent. It all depends on the top deck. The truth is I'm going to promote my Frogadier anyways in the active position just because he have energy attached. So he can provide me retreat in the worst possible scenario. So let's see, my top deck will be a Guzma. As it looks right now, I think personally it is definitely better to take the knockout versus Pidgeotto and maybe get something useful from prize cards than just wasting a turn for nothing. And it's just another Froakie. And the truth is that if Charizard wants to attack, he needs to add 2 energies and 3 damage counters, and he's already to 110. Actually to 100, and I still can't knock him out with my Frogadier. But I can hit for 40, for example, and then if he wants to add energies, he will just knock himself out, which is a bad thing. But he is hoping for maybe Guzma play into my Ditto, for example, so he can be 100% positive that I won't be able to trick him somehow with Miracle or with some sort of surprise there. But yeah, this is definitely not looking good for me. But again, I can just get back in the game in just a single turn by one Rule of Evil play. And he's just trying to use Steel Wish, so Guzma will definitely happen. There is a rare candy number 2, so we're probably gonna see a Charizard number 2 in play as well. And there we go. Ooh, one copycat would be such a good thing here. Guzma for Ditto? Nope, okay, luckily. Again, I'm not sure if he's playing some sort of... I'm not sure if he plays some sort of Max Potion play or not. But the Nazball was not a good option at all here. At least it can provide me Tapu Koko for the free treat. And I'm using my Water Drip. Water Drip. So, yeah, if this Charizard wants to attack, he can do that by just adding energies manually from his hand. But if he decides to use ability, then he will just knock himself out. And that's a good thing. And there's another rare candy play for Charizard number 2. This Charizard is actually ready right now to knock something from my bench, maybe even this Frogadier from the active position, it all depends. Again, I'm just hoping for the top deck here, otherwise I don't know how in the world I'm gonna be able to do something. So, one Draw Supporter, one Tapu Lele, one Super Scoop Pop could even work. scooping this Marshadow from play. Even Rescue Stretcher. Imagine top decking Rescue Stretcher for Zubstrika top deck. That would be a dream come true. Literally. Even Pot Town in this case wouldn't be that bad, but since he already evolved, it won't matter too much anyways. Alright, so there we go with the retreat. And for how much this Charizard can attack. For not too much, I think. Just for like 130 by discarding all of those energies. And again, we're hoping for a good top deck. Not another Nazball. Damn it, what in the world I can do with those Nazballs? I can already see the next top deck will be a Ultra Ball. I mean, I would be much more happier if I could just top deck a Timer Ball, for example. For instance, there's another rare candy for another Charizard. There we go. So the power of Charizards are in play. He took 3 damage counters. He had probably another Guzma available. If I can buy myself maybe like one more turn. Right now, unfortunately, I can't buy myself any more turns after this one. So I just need strong top deck. Literally, I'm waiting for the top deck like 10 turns and I can't get top deck. I mean, probably the top deck will be a Ultra Ball anyways. And I can't even use my Ultra Ball if I top deck it, so... Gonna definitely give my opponent credit for the win in this match. Only thing that can save me here will be Greninja GX, literally. There's nothing else. Oh, there we go. Finally something useful. Oh, there we go. Not a tails in the coin flip. Okay, so we can take Knockout versus Charizard. Theoretically go for another Super Scoop Up, or maybe Double Chorus. Ooh, Double Chorus energy. So, theoretically... all suddenly, I'm in a very good position. I mean, the only thing that my opponent needs is just a single Guzma. And he can win the game, otherwise he won't be able to win the game. So will this be another good comeback there? I don't know, we shall see. Maybe, potentially, it could be. Because next turn, I can take 3 prize cards with my Weavile. Actually, yeah, 3 prize cards with my Weavile. I'm just gonna need 1 Frogadier. But in translation, I'm gonna need Super Scoop Up. Again, I know that he have plenty of energies left in his deck, so he can try to go quickly through the deck and see if he can find himself another Guzma play. If not, this can definitely be a comeback. So 30, 150... Wait a second, he can add 2 energies, that's like 150, 180, Choice Band 210, and Shrine 220, and I have 10 from previously turn of the Shrine, so it will be enough for the knockout, so to 30. Whew. Can he get all he needs? Let's see. Literally Choice Band or Choice Band or some sort of Guzma play works for my opponent. I'm not sure if there's anything else that he can play, and no, he played Cynthia, so there we go. I'm taking like 180 this turn, so I'm taking 210, 220, 230. That's a GG. So he had that choice band. Wow. Probably he ran only one copy of choice band and he drew it. So I'm like 100% positive in that. Can you imagine that? Only one choice band and he played like 3 Guzmas. So there was literally 1% chance that he will grab the choice band. And he actually somehow managed to get it. So definitely gonna give credit for my opponent for winning me, for managed to win my first place Greninja GX deck list, and I'm definitely gonna feature that in my video. So I hope you guys enjoy watching this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos. So as you can see, the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more turns I was not able to get the Drought Supporter, and that actually cost me the game. Pretty much, if I had that Zipstreak in play, my opponent probably wouldn't stand the chance anyways, but definitely gonna give him a credit and a huge respect for taking a win against me. So yeah, that was the deck list that I used at my local league. I hope you guys are watching this video, so as usual, subscribe to the channel if you already didn't, and also if you're new to the channel, have a nice day, and we'll see you next time.